This is Vigilant Liberty Radio News from Independent Journal Review for January 21st. In a State of the Union speech Tuesday evening, President Obama laid out plans for a $300 billion tax increase, including raising the capital gains tax to 28%, increasing the inheritance tax to 60%, a, quote, bank tax that will be passed on to consumers, taxing 529 college plans, capping IRA retirement savings, mandating employers with more than 10 employees offer retirement plans. The president's plan is unlikely to pass the House and Senate. Former governor and potential 2016 presidential candidate Mitt Romney posted a message to Facebook in which he said of Obama, "He is more intent on winning elections than on winning progress. He ignores the fact that the country has elected a Congress that favors smaller government and lower taxes. Rather than bridging the gap between the parties, he makes bridge-to-nowhere proposals." Freshman Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa delivered the GOP rebuttal to the President's State of the Union address. News reports have surfaced that at least 50 law enforcement agencies, including the FBI and U.S. Marshals Service, in the United States have been using a handheld radar device that can scan inside buildings, including private homes. This device can do something others can't: create 3D images of interiors, map interiors, and function while mounted on a drone. It can detect motion on the other side of walls as well. Judges hearing an appeals case expressed grave concerns about its use, noting it poses a threat to the Fourth Amendment, and the ACLU's Christopher Sogan said, "Technologies that allow the police to look inside of a home are among the intrusive tools that police have." Kurdish fighters have captured Mishenter Hill, an observation point that overlooks the town of Kobani on the Turkey-Syria border. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights estimate Kurdish forces have reclaimed a majority of the city from ISIS, especially during the last 7 weeks. Kurds now have a view of a main ISIS resupply route, and this will allow Kurds to put the pressure on the jihadist militants in accompaniment with U.S.-led airstrikes. Just this past weekend, 11 airstrikes took place near Kobani, forcing ISIS fighters to retreat. And the U.S. government spent $76 billion on the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, to cover the cost of food for about 46.5 million people, or approximately 1/6 of the country. This number hasn't changed much since last year, and the number has nearly doubled since 2007. The top 5 locations with the most people currently enrolled in SNAP are Oregon, West Virginia, New Mexico, Mississippi, and coming in at number 1 is the District of Columbia. The total number of people receiving food stamps is projected to fall over the next 2 years, and under pending federal cuts, an estimated 1 million people will begin losing food stamp benefits this fall. This has been Amy Curtis with your Vigilant Liberty Radio News from Independent Journal Review for January 21st.
Back to the show. This is The Right Mics with Mike Miller, Michael Hausum, and now Jennifer Van Laar for the next half hour. We're going to be discussing different types of pastas. We're going to be talking about the types of cooking oils that are used, whether canola or olive oil. And if you do like olive oil, whether you like virgin, extra virgin, we also may be discussing a little bit the various types of breads, if you like them heated in the oven, if you like them with butter or without. Jen, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be able to discuss this with you.
You know what? It's almost to the point that I wish that I was you to feel what it's like to be talking to me.
I don't know.
he and Circe are twin sons from different mothers.
He's just Circe's wannabe acolyte.
Well, see, I would have said that, but I thought it'd piss him off.
Well, yeah, I mean, the one thing I can never do is come up with anything original, and I'm unable to deliver it without a smirk and a smile like Circe is able to do.
Yeah, but dude, you could when I said that to say it the other day, you could have said what he said. He said something what seriously just wishes he could be me.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. The evil secret about Circe is that he's actually not like that, whereas Evan is.
Well, that you know what?
I'm so
Evan,
glad you said that, and
Evan,
not
just
me.
in case you're listening, dude, I agree. So no, I'm
Well,
kidding.
Evan's response would be he'd kind of tilt his head to the side and say, "Well, it's not bragging if it's true."
There you go. And see, the thing about Circe that's hilarious is anybody who knows him knows that. Like again, that picture he posted, we talked about where everybody's on all three sides of him, above and both sides, pointing at him like he's the big deal and the stuff he writes. So yeah, you're right on. So anyway, Jen, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so what do you want to talk about? You
No,
said
no, I've
some-
got some
No,
questions.
he
for
already
Jen.
told us what we're talking
Oh, okay.
about.
See, I ran to the bathroom, so never mind.
Yeah, we're talking pasta, cooking oils, things like that. No, what I want to know is I do want to know we should at least hit a little bit with the State of Union because Jen is a smart cat, obviously. She's been involved.
I
She's
can't be serious though, because Mike Miller said I can't be serious.
No, no, no. You can be
I-
serious. Just don't talk like you're, just trying to sneak in the conversation in a funeral home or something. Just, yeah, no, just lighten up a little bit.
Because I'm never ever. I can't ever laugh. I'm very serious.
Well,
I'm
see,
like that.
Howsome tells me differently, so that's why.
I'm like that girl. No, I'm like April on Parks and Rec. I'm very morose. Sorry, I
super
can't do it.
emotionally flat. No, well, let me ask this, Jen, because obviously you've got 1 foot in the political consultancy world, and have been for quite some time. What did you think of the State of the Union? I mean, that's what we talked about for the first portion of the show, but there may be some thoughts or insights or opinions that you've got about it, or things of note that you'd like to discuss. So I think, Mike, we should rock along with that a little bit, as long as
I
we
agree.
have her big brain on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's.
All
So
right.
what was your overall view, and what observations did you make?
Well, my overall view is it's the same thing that he said for the last 7 years, and things that have even been debunked, like the global warming crap, he's still harping on. And then at the end, when he basically apologized for Islam and Muslims, however you want to phrase it, I just wanted to shoot the TV. And I wasn't even going to watch it. I went to body combat class and figured to be done when I came back, but I guess they started late per usual, because everything's about Obama.
It's an Obama time.
Right. Whenever he decides he's going to freaking show up, then he shows up. And so unfortunately it was still on when I walked back in the house. And I even went to Carl's Jr. after and ate a cheeseburger after body combat.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
All right, so let me ask you this, because we talked about what you just, obviously this just surrealistic claim about he has stopped ISIS. Of course, he insists on calling them ISIL. That's a whole other issue. But do you think he honestly believes that, or do you think he's just floating it out there just in case some people, Obama bots and the like, are just going to continue to buy it? What do you think?
I think he honestly believes his dribble. I mean, either that or he is just the biggest sociopath in the world.
Well, yeah, there's that.
There's two options. I mean, he's that extreme that you can't be one way. He can't be just floating down the middle. He's either completely deluded or a sociopath.
And you know what? That's not. I know you don't mean it to be funny, but that.
I kind of do, and I kind of don't.
I'm exactly right. I mean, you're exactly right, and I'm down with that because I think there is a bit of that going on, to the extent that, was it Goebbels said World War II? And there are variations of it out there, but tell a big lie long enough or whatever, and sooner or later people are going to believe it. I think he does that to himself. I think he actually, at least in part, believes the crap that comes out of his mouth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't know where he thinks the things that he proposed last night, all of these different, I did a little article on it and just noted about 7 of his actual programs that he was proposing. Where are we going to pay for that? And, but I guess you don't need to think about that. And then he says that he's not going to let Congress talk global warming. He's not going to let Congress stand in the way of things that might hurt our children. We're going to protect the children. And I immediately tweeted out, oh, but we can let tens and hundreds of thousands of undocumented illegals carrying contagious diseases come through and put them in schools with our children. But, but you're going to protect the children. All right.
And of course, this notion of how are we going to pay for it, we know how we're going to pay for it. Literally, because it's wealth redistribution, always has been and always will be. I got into a little bit of a debate with our Bubba's this morning about this term invest. We have to invest. We have to make investments in. That just makes me want to throw up in my mouth every time Obama uses the word invest or investment.
It's funny. Speaking of the money part, he makes a big deal about the deficit has come down. But I just did a word search on the speech, and the word debt is used 3 times in a speech. Mm-hmm. And he 2 times it's preceded by the word student. Oh, no, wait a second. The word debt is only used twice. Once is preceded by the word student, and then he is talking about student loans. So the only time he uses the word debt in the entire speech is in the context of student loans.
And the context was what?
Well, he's talking about, community college and graduating and not having a boatload of student debt or blah, blah, blah. That student debt shouldn't derail your dreams, which I love.
Nothing should derail your dreams. It's all about following that inner compass.
Right. Pursuing your dreams. And anything that could potentially stand in the way of your dreams, which is funny that he then later talks about competition.
But my dream is to have a free country without them confiscating a lot of my paycheck.
Yeah. And listen, before we leave the context of why I asked the question about debt, student debt, the overall context was, again, more wealth redistribution, more taken from the rich and given to the poor, so as to relieve students of future financial debt, student debt. So that was the overall context. It's all one and the same.
Right. I'm speechless. Like the stupidity and the lack of economic knowledge that is.
So you're not buying into middle class economics, Jen?
No, I'm not. I'm buying into realistic economics. I mean, people, and you had the guest on the show yesterday talking about the millennials, and they're starting to wake up and say, wait a minute, I just can't sit in mom's basement and have everything handed to me all day. And, they're at least waking up to this, and maybe they're going to be the ones to lead their president to some semblance of a normal thought process.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about.
So let's talk about pasta.
I know, exactly. Right? We're all having a great time talking about Oreos and cookies and stuff, and now we start talking about reality. All 3 of us have sighed at least once since we switched to
No,
right. It's like the vehicle just came to a crashing stop without even running into the weeds. I mean, that we got bogged down before getting even into the weeds about it.
No, when I was listening to you the first hour and you guys were talking about Oreos, I thought, thank God they're not talking about this other stuff. This is so much more fun to think about this. And then when Housem started talking about pie, and I was remembering a House of Cards gathering we had last year, a bunch of us got together to watch the finale. And Housem risked his life to go to this rib shack to get us ribs from a not very safe neighborhood. And what else do we had? We had some other stuff like trying to be like the show. And then we thought, well, what are we going to have for dessert? And of course, Housem being the diva, I can't have cheesecake. I can have cake. I can't have that. So I made.
He is a diva, isn't he?
He is. I made a couple strawberry pies. And I think there were 4 of us there. And I think Housem ate one of them completely.
Hey, real quick about House of Cards. Real quick about House of Cards. Housem always gives me crap about all the movies and TV shows that I don't see. I have never watched an episode of House of Cards.
What is wrong with you?
I don't
Oh
know.
my God, Mike, you're such a political junkie. That is such an amazingly good show.
No, I know that. And Kevin Spacey, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh
He's
my
a,
gosh.
he's a fantastic actor. I know it. I just I kind